The views, opinions, and positions expressed in this podcast called Mood Food are in no way the views, opinions, and positions of the Department of the Air Force, DoD, United States government, including resources listed in today's podcast.
Hello there, everyone. Good day to you. I hope that you're having a great day today. We've made it to Wednesday, and I am thankful for that. I hope all of you are as well. Welcome to the Mood Food Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Gordon, and Kim, thank you for taking time to read our disclaimer for today's episode of Getting Through Grief and Loss. Definitely, this is a hard episode for many of us. I know that we've had significant people in our lives out there that have passed on, but today I'm going to give you some tips to hopefully soften that up a little bit so that you can work through and talk through to make sure that we remember those important people that we've lost in our lives, and you tell other people about the significance of that person. Thank you to all of you who continue to download us and continue to listen to us all around the world. We are successful because of you, the listeners, that are really downloading, telling all your friends and family about us. You're leaving those reviews. We're hearing back from you on the emails. Thank you so much for that. It means so much. We are grateful for that. We have a Facebook page, we have our Instagram, and we have our YouTube channel, which I am broadcasting to right now and waving over. So if you're watching the video or you're just listening, hey, hop on over. If you wanna watch us do the video thing, please go ahead and do that as well. If you have any show ideas, email us at moodfoodpodcast@gmail.com, and or let us hear from you once again on the Facebook page or the Instagram page or YouTube channel. It's very easy to find, Mood Food Podcast. And if you have downloaded us from the Apple Podcast platform, we are reading reviews on the shows, and what I would like to do is read that and show our appreciation of you taking time to leave a review. Stars and reviews mean a lot in this line of work, and so we want to continue to grow and continue to reach every single place on this planet, and through that, our ratings matter. And so if you have a chance to go on the Apple Podcast platform, can you do that for us and just jot down a few kind words, leave us some stars, and we'll see that on our end, and then we'll read it. Because I have ordered a few items to give away, and so when they come in, I'll give you the disclaimer about what the rules and regulations are in regards to that. Some pretty neat stuff, and then we will be happy to mail that to you. But there's going to be a catch. I want to make sure that we send things to the folks who have left reviews on Apple, and also if you leave one coming up, we want to be able to reward you for that as well. It's just a small appreciation, a token of appreciation to you as a listener for continuing to download us and support us here. And we don't make any money of this podcast or from this podcast. It is costing us money, but you know what? It's the best money I have ever spent, because I'm investing and taking time, hopefully, to offer something that's helpful and to give you hope out there. We all need it during this time. We don't need anything negative, and we have enough of that, right? So this podcast is here for you to hopefully lift your spirits as we are all in this together, experiencing all of this together. COVID-19 and 2020 has definitely been a dumpster fire, but we're getting through it. We are getting through it, and moving forward together is going to allow us to get through it productively and positively. So keep reviewing all the items I've been sharing with you, because the more you review, the more you will see yourself making that progress as you are provoked by situations that can trigger those unhealthy thinking patterns. And also keep reviewing, because it's part of your mood food diet. One quick announcement too is we have been selected to be picked up for the new platform that's still in development, but it hasn't launched yet, and that is through Amazon and Audible. So we have submitted our application to them, and so we're just waiting to hear back. So that'll give us another option, give you another option to download us and listen to us, and we really appreciate that. All right, today is a difficult podcast called Getting Through Grief and Loss, and it might be something that is new to you. You may not have ever experienced significant grief or loss, but it is inevitable that you will. And so we want to prepare you for that. It is not easy. And when we lose someone significant to us, that's to our lives and has been very impactful, it hurts. It really does hurt. It's hard to move on and keep going, but you have to. You don't have any other choice. You're going to have to live on. And as long as you are breathing and you are standing up, sitting upright, and you are of the right mind and you know what's going on and your heart is beating, that person is alive in you, in your heart and in your mind. So never forget that. Hold on to that and let others see that person through your actions and educate people about the significance of the person that you may have lost in your life. So yeah, today's going to be a little bit difficult to get through, but we're all going to get through it together, right? We're all going to get through it together. And believe you me, this is a tough one. And having to approach grief and loss is scary as heck and can be. And I'm good at avoiding it. I'm the first one to admit I will wear a shirt that says I love avoidance because it's uncomfortable stuff, right? It's making you feel vulnerable and those raw emotions, especially whenever it comes up on the anniversary of the passing of someone significant to you. And the reason I did pick that today is because my granny passed away August 19th, 2009. And I cannot believe that we're coming up on this. And it's like 11 years ago this month that our family lost her. She was the matriarch. She was the backbone of the family. She was the person that kept our family together. How many of you out there have someone or had someone like that in your life and you miss them dearly? And it's hard. It is hard, especially around the holidays. It gets rough because you miss that person that was kind of like the peacemaker that brought everyone together regardless of what has happened in the family. And every family has their little tiffs and their little things that happen. But the grannies and the moms and everyone can be the peacemakers. And when we lose them, it's hard. It is very difficult to get through. My granny was an amazing lady. She lived to be 95 years old. You know, she lived a good life. She worked hard and she loved hard. And she was just a great lady, a great cook. And I'm telling you, I've learned so many good things. And I will tell you that what I've done is I went back through and I've looked at pictures of her and I found this book that she gave me. This book is an old book. She retired as a lunchroom manager. She worked almost 30 years in the Okaloosa County food service school system, and she retired. But this book is an amazing book. It has a lot of her handwritten recipes in here. And so if you're watching on the YouTube channel, you can definitely see this book. This is an old book. It's called Food for 50, third edition. And it's such a great book. Now, I can't cook these recipes in here because I don't have 50 people to cook for, but there's a lot of handwritten recipes from my granny in here, and it's just so many good memories of the things that she would cook and prepare. And there's a recipe that's from 1962 that she wrote down for creamed corn. Just things that she historically captured for us to remember her by. And this book is very close to me. I don't let it get out of sight, and it stays right next to where I sleep at night. So if I get a little curious and I want to read something relaxing, I read this recipe book because it's in her handwriting, and it means so much. So if you have something that's significant that someone else has owned, that has made an impact on you, pull that stuff out. It's okay. It's okay to remember that person. You don't need to avoid not remembering them. You don't need to avoid not really processing it. Grief is a lifelong process. I tell people that all the time. I tell myself that all the time. You have to be patient with yourself. There's no set time limit to grieve the loss of someone significant. You have to do it in a way that works for you. Now, if it starts to impact you negatively and depression, anxiety, and you want to isolate sets in, you need some help. You need to have that third party intervention come in and help you work through those stuck points of getting through that loss. And it's tough. It really is tough. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, oh, you can, it's easy to do, because it's a lifelong process. It's a daily process. It's an hourly process. It is a minute by minute process, especially when it comes up on the anniversaries of losing someone so significant. And so today I want to kind of talk about the grieving process and give you a few tips. Hopefully that will help you kind of work through it, but not be scared of approaching it. Don't be scared of approaching it. Have that mindset that, that person was important to you. Then tell people about that person. Tell people how important that person was to you and the impact that they left on your life, their legacy, because you are a living example of the impact on that person and what significance they had. So grief, let's kind of define that real quick. So grief is the natural emotional response resulting from a significant loss, especially death of a loved one. And it's hard. I mean, about 10% of people develop complicated grief and loss when they lose someone because they don't know how to cope with it. They don't know how to think through life without that person. And it's hard. It's real. These are real emotions that are attached to that. Normal grief, though, varies greatly between people, between cultures, between societies, and it depends on who you are as a person and your background, how successful you're going to be at getting through it. You can have acute grief, you can have complicated grief, you can have integrated grief, which is all that. I mean, it's the normal grieving process to go through maybe all of those stages. And the different stages of grief range all the way from denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And getting to that acceptance stage, it is hard to do. So we back up just a little bit. In the denial stage, which most of us really get into, right? That is part of that process, is this can't be happening. I cannot believe this is real. It's just a dream. It's a nightmare. But no, it really is reality, and it's hard to face. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it really is happening. And then you're going to build up that anger. Once you get past that denial stage, you're going to feel that just immense amount of anger, and you're going to be starting to question why and did this really happen, and that leads you into that bargaining stage where I will do anything to change this, and what is that going to look like? And some individuals may try to change or delay the feelings of that loss. For example, they may try to convince a partner to return after a breakup, or search for unlikely cures in the case of a terminal illness. I mean, it's difficult. It is difficult. Depression. What's the point of going on after this loss? If you are having those thoughts, then you definitely need to reach out to someone. Do not go through this alone. It's time that you realize that life is about getting social. It's a life that is meant to have someone important and significant that you need to include in your life. And sometimes you have to have those people to help you get through these difficult times, especially if you lost someone so near and dear to your heart. And then acceptance is, it's going to be okay. And it is. It really is going to be okay. But you have to work through the loss. You have to work through the loss. You can't be scared of working through it. But do it at your own pace. Do it in your own style. Respect your culture. Respect your individuality. Respect your emotions. Respect other people's emotions and boundaries. But continue to work through it, okay? It's going to be a marathon. It's not a sprint. It is going to be a marathon. And when you get that acceptance that it's going to be okay, the individual will come to accept that loss. And I did accept the loss of my granny. And even though it was 11 years ago, though, that doesn't mean that I still can't hurt. That doesn't mean that I still can't have those emotions that come up about missing her. That just shows the significance of that person that my granny had on my life, or the significance of the person that they had on your life. And so it's okay. Work through those emotions. Don't avoid them. Just work through them productively. Okay? It'll be something that you'll be proud of. You'll be remembering that person. And you're gonna be able to feel good about the decisions you've made to remember that person by. Now, some other points here that I want to tell you is don't grieve alone. Don't do that. It's vital that you stay connected with others during this time. Your support system may include your family, friends, leaders in your faith group, a bereavement support group. It's very important. Some people will connect with that, and or a licensed mental health professional to help you cope. And your support system can help you to help with some of the new responsibilities that you're going to maybe have to take on. Share your grief with others who can definitely relate, and stay connected with that. Let that be your foundation to move forward and work through the difficult emotions in a safe setting, okay? Don't put yourself out there in the middle of the stage. And when they say action, that's when you start to let your guard down a little bit. Stay with your guard up and find that quiet, safe location where you can actually grieve this loss, and grieve it in a way that you know that you're going to reflect back, and you're going to be able to keep moving forward. Don't get in a hole. Don't put yourself in that emotional hole. There's too many good people out there that are willing and ready to help you get through this difficult time. Just don't shut down. You don't have any other options. You cannot shut down. That is not an option. So you have to continue to stay plugged in with people and take good care of yourself. You have to. That person that you lost, no matter what age, no matter who they were and who they are, and they maybe have died, maybe living right now and been diagnosed with something that's just not going to be great to go through. It's not going to be something that possibly they may survive. But I will tell you, take good care of yourself. Take good care of yourself, because they want you to. They want you to live on, because if you're living on healthy, and you're living on with a healthy state of mind, with a healthy way of living, they know their legacy is going to live through you. It will. It has no other choice or option. It's going to live through you. So stay creative. Express yourself positively. Write something about that person. Paint about the emotion that you feel about that person that you've lost. Put together a scrapbook or play a musical instrument. Do something productive to remember that person by. And eat, sleep, and exercise to avoid adding any physical fatigue or emotional drag on your life. Be patient with yourself and allow yourself to feel whatever you are feeling. You have that permission. You have to give yourself permission a lot of times to feel how you're feeling. It's okay. Give it. You're in charge of your life. You're the person that you're with 24/7, 365. No one else can ever say that, right? You are with yourself. So be good to yourself and take care of yourself, and understand what triggers your grief and prepare for those triggers. Plan to take a day or two off from work. Let your friends and family know, what you need. They're there, like I said earlier, they're there waiting in the corner to help you out. And if that's not going to work, then I want you to do something else. I want you to get out of your comfort zone and seek professional grief counseling. It's okay to do that. Do you know how many people actually do that? And there's a lot of people who don't do that. But this is very beneficial. And not everyone will need these services of a counselor or a therapist during their grieving period. But it's important that you at least keep that as an option, especially if you're really struggling out there. A qualified professional can help you work through the grieving process, give you some tools that you're going to need to use as coping skills as you feel those vulnerable and raw emotions about the person that you've lost. As you go through the process, as I said earlier, it's a marathon. It is a lifelong process, and everyone's going to grieve differently. Just be good and patient with yourself. And so while everyone grieves differently, these tips that I've shared with you today are essential for you that you must cope, that you must get through it with an experienced person or with someone who's supportive. Don't do this alone. The option is that you must get through it, but be patient with yourself. And so today, I hope that the tips that I've shared with you today are very helpful as you may be enduring something or a situation, or with someone who may be losing their life to something. Maybe it's to an addiction, maybe it's to cancer, maybe it's to a terminal illness. You may be with that person right now. So I would just say, please make sure that you are taking care of yourself, that you're working through it as well, that you may be that strong person, but sooner or later these emotions are going to creep up on you. And I just want you to be prepared for that. And because life is going to happen, and it's the worst part of life is when we lose someone significant, but it is inevitable. And I want you all to prepare and just celebrate life. You know, that person that we've lost, celebrate that person because they do live through you. And we're going to leave you today with a couple of quotes. But what I'm going to do is Othel is going to read today's review, and then we're going to come back and we are going to read those quotes for you, okay? So Othel, take it away.
Today, I'm going to be reading a review posted by Jimmy Twest, and it states, "Great show. It's so great to hear your wonderful voice, and your message is so important. I believe in staying positive, especially in these stressful and uncertain times. Keep up the good work, Jason." We want to thank Jimmy Twest for the great review. If you would like your review read on the episode of Mood Food, please email your comments to moodfoodpodcast@gmail.com or leave a review on Apple Podcast. Thank you for tuning in.
And thank you, Othel, for today's review. And we want to thank everyone also for tuning in to today's broadcast of Mood Food. I know this was kind of a tough subject today, but I wanted to put it out there because I remember my granny. I love her, and I always will. As long as I'm standing up and I'm breathing and I'm alive, she lives through me in all that I say and do. And I hope that what I've shared with you today will inspire you to share the significance of someone in your life that you've lost. And you know, I'm going to take this back just really quick. I want you to know that just because someone may not be physically gone, they may so far as through death, but they may be physically out of your life. You know, it's sometimes life can throw you some difficult situations where you may have been left with no other choice but to just push someone out of your life because it was just a toxic relationship. You know, you have to mourn that loss too. So hopefully some of the skills that I've kind of talked with you today about, some examples of ways to do that, can help you. And it does happen. And there's family members that I have that I don't talk to anymore because they are very judgmental and they're not positive and they're not good for my life. And so I made that choice long ago not to incorporate them because they have no value. They don't add any value because all they want to do is judge. And I realized long ago that I can't live a life pleasing others. I have to live a life that's healthy for me and my family. And I am, and I'm very thankful for that. Now, I love them, and my phone is always on, so if they want to contact me, I'm not going to be rude and not answer it. I'm going to talk with them. It's just a matter of putting in some boundaries. That's all I really have done. And but I'm willing to talk to them, and I will, and because they're family, and I do love them. It's just a matter of putting some boundaries in place to protect yourself. So that loss can either be through death or through you've just put some boundaries in place, but you have to work through it, and because it has left an emotional drag on your life, and you don't have communication with that person anymore. But that's going to be okay. You've got good friends. And family doesn't have to be blood. You can always reach out to anyone that's positive and good for your life and that you can appreciate and trust to help you get through that very positively. So today I wanted to take time to read you a quote, but it's actually some lyrics from a song, and it's a really positive song. And I know I said earlier that I had a couple of quotes. This is actually just one long one. So forgive me for saying there's going to be two. It's just one long one. But we want to thank you for tuning in today. If you haven't subscribed to us, if you haven't liked us, if you're not following us, if you haven't left us a review, please take time to do that on all the platforms out there, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or the YouTube channel and Apple Podcast platform for reviews. So today I'm going to leave you with some song lyrics from an amazing artist. She's actually a new Christian artist. Not like all kinds of music, but this song right here, especially when I start thinking about that loss and that emptiness that I feel in my life, that, you know, my granny passed, I start thinking about this song. And it's a new song, but it just really spoke to me. And it's by Hope Darst. If you haven't heard this song, take time to go on YouTube and listen to it. It's just an amazing song. The lyrics are really, really good. And it's titled Peace Be Still, because in the moment when you're really mourning that loss of the person, whatever faith you believe in, grab a hold to that. Let that be your strength. and just relax. Find that quiet place. Meditate, do whatever you need to do. Pray so that that peace beyond all understanding comes to you when you can say, "Peace, be still." And so here are the lyrics to this song by Hope Darst, "Peace, be still." This is just a small snippet of it, but it says, "I don't want to be afraid every time I face the waves. I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to be afraid. And I don't want to fear the storm just because I hear it roar. I don't want to fear the storm. I don't want to fear the storm. Peace, be still. Say the word, and I will. Set my feet upon the sea till I'm dancing in the deep. Peace, be still. You are here, so it is well. Even when my eyes can't see, I will trust the voice that speaks." So that song is amazing. You have got to listen to it, okay? I wish we could play that stuff on here, but I don't own the copyrights to that, and I don't feel like being sued. So that is a great song. Please listen to that song and let me know what you think, okay? But it's by Hope Darst, and it's Peace, Be Still. So trust. Don't be afraid to tell others about the significance that person that you've lost has had in your life. Don't be afraid to tell people about that person. Celebrate that person. Their legacy and impact remains in you. So today, let others see it. Thank you for joining us for today's broadcast of Mood Food. We love you and we appreciate you out there. I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until the next episode, I'm your host, Jason Gordon. We'll talk to you soon.